Happy hump day, everybody. This is your favorite crypto trading show. I'm your host, Clutch. We got B. Wellington over here on the charts. And hey, we really haven't done jack shit since yesterday's show. Just a bunch of ranging. So we're going to really take a dive into this because, as you can see right there on the 1 hour time frame that B. Wellington's looking at, we're getting some really tight EMAs. And you know what really tight EMAs mean? Something's about to slingshot. So let's see if we can get it right and get the direction so you guys can get ready for the move. B. Wellington, what you got, bud?
So we'll start off. Let's just start off on the daily since we had such a big drop yesterday. I mean, that was I think in the stock market this was one of the largest drops of the year on the SPX and the Dow. So ETH didn't get as much of a drop just because uh, we've got the merge coming up. We still got some positive data that's coming out, but as we know, markets are correlated overall, and so if the markets drop, then so is SPX or so is Ethereum. And so if we look at the daily here, as you can see, we've had that down candle that kind of penetrated through this line here, which was basically an extension of this kind of this formation here. So whether we stay below that, I mean, we do have this imbalance in the chart here. We've got last week's low. We also have, as I know you'll point out, is that CME that's down in this area as well, where we kind of pump through. So I like to see wherever we have, really vector candles that come through an area that was acting as resistance before, it's always going to come back to. And so we've pumped up, and all of this was just to get rid of all the shorts that were shorting this move here, and that's what they did. They moved these shorts up to the upside. If we know what we know about patterns, though, is that we normally come back up into these areas, and so the high of the Ethereum, the USDT, was at 2019. And so we've had such a big drop. I won't say it wouldn't surprise me if we got back up to this area, because I know that, if we were going big short right here, we're probably going big short right here again as an overall market, which may propel us up back into these areas. But I will tell you, just personally, I'll be fading any move that comes up. And actually, I'm waiting on a move to the upside so that I can basically get into a better position short. That may not happen if we continue down. I mean, if you look at the daily, all signs says that we're going down. But again, these things can change. Even our on balance volume is up here. So, we'll have to see what happens. If we look at a smaller time frame, such as the hourly, as you can see, here's that big candle that produced this drawdown here. And so we're below some of these key areas. We're right at 1600, which is a key number as well. We've got the pivot point up in this area, which is 1658. So we've had such downward momentum so far. We've had a lot of these longs that have been taken out. We've got built a lot of shorts in this area. So I do think we'll move to the upside at some point. But I will tell you, I mean, just from looking at some of the data, it doesn't look like we've got a huge amount of shorts on board just yet. So we may come back and kind of test some of these last week's lows. But I know we're kind of jumping around relative to whether it go up or down. The reality of the situation is we have a Fed meeting next week. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. It's really hard to predict pricing at this point as far as from a directional standpoint, just because of the news next week and what people are going to set up. So really, we had this move to the downside, which everybody thought there was going to be a short squeeze to the upside because of, I mean, that's just the data that I've been reading, that everybody's looking for a short squeeze to the upside, and boom, comes back down in that CPI data. And so now we're just kind of ranging back into this area. So whether we come back up or come back down, the key areas you want to take a look at is, one are the peaks up here, which is this, I would say probably this peak getting back up and taking back this candle, which would be at 1740. I think that's very unlikely, though. I think probably the more likely situation is to move down. These red lines here, dotted lines, are really vector candles on some time frames. We even got a vector candle back down here that could project us down, trap some more shorts before moving back up. all that, very, very likely. So,
So I have a vector candle marked at 1712.
right. So 1712. I mean, we're in it's a very choppy area. There's going to be a big move. There's going to be some volatility in response to the Fed meeting to set people up. I mean, it's Wednesday. So going to Wednesday, maybe we have a Thursday reversal where we go back up, you know, try to build up some longs over the weekend, take out some shorts, and then Wednesday of next week we may have that fallout again, or it could happen opposite because it has happened opposite in the past, kind of depending what's happened. I will tell you that there's now a over 50% chance, looking at the numbers, that the Fed have raised by an entire point versus 0.75. So people are really taking, the market's really taking it seriously. In the number yesterday, the CPI number didn't help at all. So getting back onto things like the OI. So this is OI on Binance. We kind of look at that. I look at this every once in a while. We've had OI decrease as we've ranged into this area. So we did, when price drop, we had OI increase, which I would imagine is just a bunch of probably some people trying to catch the knife, relative to longs, because as we move down and as we kind of range these, this has come down as well. We've got spot that's starting to come back up. We've got our on balance volume, at least on this chart, kind of near the lows that it's been at, which would indicate that we've got to move to the upside. We've also had kind of this, average directional change, which is just a metric that looks at, the overall trend. So the overall trend has been up, the price has gone down. So we've got somewhat of a divergence here, which would probably indicate that we're moving to the upside. So as far as the data concerned, the data we have here says that we're probably going up, looking at funding rate, which, this being this negative for this long,
Wow.
I would think that this is a manipulated because of the merge that's out there, some type of manipulation, because I just don't see the amount of shorts that are out there for this. But we can take a look at that and some of the other indicators that you have, Clutch. But just looking at the overall market, we have open. We're still kind of in the first 30 to 45 minutes. We're kind of flat overall, as far as the markets are concerned. Oil ticked up just a little bit. This is something to look at. Nat gas as well, which is not on here. It's kind of at historical highs as well, kind of going into this European winter. If we look at numbers, these are all the numbers from yesterday. I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with that, but just, overall, they're not good. The producer price index, the PPI, for negative 0.1. This is actually a decent number because, it's right in line and it's been reduced, which shows that inflation for wholesalers is somewhat coming down as far as the supplies that they use and things of that nature. But one of the things, and I was reading an article this morning, that's included within this price is natural gas, which is why I kind of mentioned it. And so nat gas had come down, which would indicate that this number comes down. But I think we're all in agreement that nat gas, given the situation with Russia cutting off Europe, that's going to put pressure on pricing, which, so this price is really kind of
Yeah,
not
I
the
mean, it's
best.
not winter time yet, dude.
It's not even wintertime.
Right,
I was
right.
also I was also reading an article that showed that Europeans are now buying a bunch of electrical devices, heaters, things of that nature, and so it's going to put a lot of demand on the grid over there as well. Uh,
Hey, well, you have to understand that how are the grids ran? Those turbines are natural gas turbines, dude.
right. So what we'll just have to see how all that turns out. But tomorrow we've got somewhat of a big day. Initial job claims coming out, retail sales, business inventories, and then on Friday, kind of consumer sentiment. But all that is great. But the number that the Fed's looking at really is this core CPI. I don't think jobless claims are going to be that big of a deal for pricing tomorrow, but we'll see. They may use that to move price up so that they can bring it back down next week, but we will see. But that's all I've got on my end. Clutch, what's going on your end? Let's take a look at high block and
Let's do it.
the book map.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So as you can see here, we only have about 143 long liquidations left, and we're really starting to get into. I mean, gosh, in 2 days, we literally went from positive 10 billion, 12 billion, something like that, all the way to negative 9.6 billion on the delta. So definitely,
But doesn't that look light? Doesn't that look light? It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of money that's out there. Yeah.
what do you mean?
It just looks
Hey,
like we got
oh,
a
it's a
special guest this
puppy.
morning. Yeah, we got a little special guest.
Ruska.
Rusco, that's right.
Ruska.
Rusco is a new member of the team, Trading Brother
Oh,
team.
little
Oh,
Ruska.
he's got some
Hi,
big
little
balls.
Ruska.
Right
Oh,
He's only 2 months.
that thing's gonna be pissing and shitting all over your house.
Ah, man, he already has.
Yeah.
He already has.
Puppies are such a pain in the ass. Anyway, hey, but we all love puppies. I just want to clarify.
We all love puppies.
But man, they will mess
They
some
will
shit
shit.
up around the house. No, this is no, this is not a light number. Usually, I mean, sometimes we see stuff get into the 14, 15, 16 billions some weeks before we have reversals, but we do have some really big liquidations on the short side above us. And again, those guys are up in the 1700s and 1733, which is right up in that ballpark area that we were just talking about, those peaks. So with us getting this type of number down here already, I would definitely expect that we're probably going to do just a small a small reversal up to these areas at some point this week, just so that they can get their money back off of the board up here, because I mean it's a significant amount. It's $268 million. So if we start heading back up, and like seriously guys, if we get above about 16, 15, go ahead and expect that we're probably going to get back into this range, because it's getting close to time to go back up. But as you can see here, we have a pretty big gap, so us ranging for the rest of the day is actually more likely, in my opinion. So I don't really think, I think we're going to have another day of not a whole lot of stuff happening, I guess, to put things, that's kind of what I think. I think we're going to have a bigger day of ranging than anything else. But let's look at Bookmap. As you can see right here, we're actually more heavily kind of weighted to the downside right now. And if I do a zoom out here, I need to. And here you can see it. We have long-term liquidity that's been long-term down here at 1500, but they just popped one up here at 1680, which is some heavy area, and we're sitting right here in this gap, and we are bouncing off of the VWAP. So we did have a bunch of shorts show up here, as well as a bunch of longs. This is usually an indication for reversal, which means we would start heading up. So for today, I'm gonna call bull today, and with expectations that we will be heading back up to not a whole lot, but up into the low 1700 area, and I think that's going to happen probably today or tomorrow. But I think they're going to take their sweet time getting back up there, because I don't think they're in a rush for anything at this point in time, with all the other news that's planned to come out later this week and next week. So slow ranging up to the top, and that's where I'm at.
Man, we had that huge move downside, so I mean, not a surprise that we if we do range up a little bit. I don't think that the down. I mean, I think we can both agree. Downside, we're going to move to the downside again at some point, and we're going to break these levels. Probably get down to that 1200 area and see where,
absolutely,
how it acts when we get down there. So,
any move to the
upside, any move to the upside, I think is going to be, a false move.
Risque.
from that. Risque. It's a good
Risque.
scout, maybe a good scout, but not a good longer
Right.
term trade. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's what we got for today. And so you guys be careful with your trading. Have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Stay frosty out there, my friends. AMF.